the online channel?
Yes.
Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting of February 21st, 2024 to order. Ms. Cassandra.
Mayor David Romero.
Here.
Counselor Marvin Martinez.
Present.
Counselor Barbara Casey. Counselor Michael Montoya. Counselor David Ujibadi.
Present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We will form.
Thank you. Councilman Montoya will lead us in the sketch.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Ujibadi will lead us in a moment of silence.
No one the signs for, I know that Council Casey had an accident. Keep her on her prayers and hopefully she could get back, come back strong and healed what happened to her. And for let us know the citizens in Las Vegas. Everybody's doing good.
Ms. Cassandra.
Mr. Mayor, approval of the agenda.
I have a motion to approve the agenda. Are there any changes? Motion by Councilman Martinez. Do I have a second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second. I have a second by Councilman Ujibadi. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Ms. Cassandra.
Mr. Mayor, public input. We have no public input this evening. Moving on to mayor's appointments. Reports, recognitions, and proclamations. We have 3 appointments.
Okay, councilors, tonight I present to you, Mr. Morris. We'll start with the first one. Mr. Morris will go to the Utilities Advisory Committee. You guys, Mr. Morris Madrid was a previous city manager and also a council member. We would like to see if you approve his appointment for the Utilities Advisory Committee. I have a motion by Pro Tem Montoya. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, please.
Counselor Ujibadi.
Yes.
Counselor Montoya.
Yes.
Counselor Casey. Counselor Martinez.
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Montoya, second by Counselor Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Councilman, Pro Tem Montoya.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Madrid also was a finance director for the city of Las Vegas and other places, worked at VFA and Santa Fe. And also city manager for the city of Las Vegas, I make that commercial, and also served as a city councilman. So, he, as my fact, is in our stand in our audience today, and welcome, Mr. Madrid. He brings a wealth of experience and knowledge, and he'll be an asset to the city of Las Vegas. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. The next appointment, I know that Councilor Casey has been the liaison for the Chamber of Commerce, but I just wanted to formalize this. She'd be the representative for the Chamber of Commerce. That is entertaining motion.
So, Mr.
A motion by Mayor Pro Tem Montoya. Is that the second?
Second, Mr. Mayor.
Second by Councilman Ujibadi. Roll call, please.
Counselor Casey. Counselor Martinez.
Yes.
Counselor Montoya.
Yes.
Counselor Ujibadi.
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Montoya, second by Counselor Ujibadi. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you. The next appointment is Mr. Lucas Marquez, and typically, pretty much every community development director has been the liaison for the Main Street. I can formalize this. With that, I entertain a motion. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Montoya. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Martinez. Roll call, please.
Counselor Ujibadi.
Yes.
Counselor Martinez.
Yes.
Counselor Casey. Counselor Montoya.
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Montoya, second by Counselor Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you. And then also I'd like to, in my reports, I'd like to notify the council that myself and the city manager Tim Montgomery will be attending the Las Vegas City Schools meeting tomorrow to discuss or ask to see the possibility of temporarily, depending on how we are with City Hall, at least for Legion Elementary. You know, we are with the move, we have everybody scattered all over, so this we can start those conversations with the city schools with the board, so we get that 5:30. If anybody else would, you know, anyone of you who can't have a forum, if anybody would want to join us. With that, I have no other reports.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to council's reports.
Councilors? Councilor Casey? Councilor Casey, go ahead. Thank you, Councilor Casey, and continued prayers and speedy recovery. I thank you, listening today. Councilors?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman, anybody?
I'm a little concerned too because, in the past two snowfalls, Plaza area and Newtown area, businesses don't clean their snow off the sidewalk. And, I had some people call me and tell me that some of the businesses are open, but the owners are not cleaning the snow and it's very dangerous for citizens that walk through them. So I would like to say, management should take a look at that, have code enforcement or whoever's in charge doing that to take care of that on that snow. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilman Marquez?
Yes, thank you. I'm still going around trying to understand a lot of what's going on still. I mean, there's still a lot to learn. You know, today I met with the Mayor Romero, and we went to the senior center. And just to take a look at the development of the parking area, that structure and so forth. So on my behalf, it's just a learning curve. I need to get out there more. I need to visit with more people. I need to visit with directors and so forth. But I am making an effort to get out there and try to understand everything that's already taking place, not necessarily that's going to take place, but whatever needs to get done. So I just want you to know that I'm taking my time to make sure that we get all the pieces straight. We've met with some neighborhood residents in our ward, in reference to some other issues, but, it looks like that's starting to come around full circle, so. Anyway, just be patient, I'll get out there as soon as I can, and I'll meet with all of you guys, hopefully individually or better, you know, so. I just wanted to know that that's what I'm planning on doing, so, and I know that, Mr. Montgomery and David, we're gonna, you know, also have me go to different areas of the city entity, so that I can go ahead and understand those issues as well. We have a lot of issues to take care of, so we just need to get to work, you know. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, sir. I would just like to, I guess, bring up the issue about our department heads, where they're at, in the locations that they're at. And it's an inconvenience for everyone, for sure. It's not gonna be an easy haul. We don't know how long or how short the haul is. But I would encourage our city manager to reach out to all directors and get an update as to how their employees are doing, and if there's any accommodations that need to happen, and where they're staying at, or if we need to find a different location, or split some up some more. Whatever the reason might be, privacy, or desks, or dividers, or whatever the situation might be, I ask that they reach out to professionally and advise you that, so we can move forward on making them a little bit more comfortable and welcoming. We are one city in itself, and I thank all those other departments that are housing these individuals in their departments. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, next on the agenda is our police chief's report. We have our interim chief, Matthias Apalapa.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, City Manager, residents, and everyone. This chief report is going to be for the month of January. We'll begin with Hill Rocks Patrol Division. They had calls for service was 1,229. Burglary calls was 10. Arrest made 45. Parking citations 40. Non-traffic citations 11. Traffic citations 321. The Animal Care Center, beginning count on 1124. You really can't see the colors, but the way you can. Blue is for dogs, red is for cats. 61 dogs, 26 cats. Intake from the public was 56 dogs, 2 cats. Adoptions was an even number of 6 and 6. Outgoing transfers within the community, 26 dogs, 4 cats. Transfers outside the community, 28 dogs, 0 cats. Return to owner guardians, 3 dogs, 0 cats. Unhealthy, untreatable, 5 dogs. Ending shelter count was 49 dogs, 18 cats. Information Division records, this was everything they processed for the month of January. 229 offense incident reports closed. 41 traffic accident reports closed, 394 citations entered, 157 customers attended to, 449 documents scanned, and 28 City of Las Vegas airports completed. They're also working on the process of instructions from 2013 to 2017. The street crime investigation narcotics assigned cases was 10. Self-initiated was 13, arrests made 10, 1 search warrant, cases closed was 16, 0 homicides for this time frame, and 1 fentanyl LLC. Evidence seized by agents, investigators, or police officers for the month of January. 97 evidence cases in. Total of 216 evidence items turned in. 2 fentanyl pills, 32 Suboxone strips. There's 32 cases at the Department of Public Safety at the lab. 3 cases or 3 items of evidence at NMRCFL, and 10 liquor requests, CDs, DVDs. Training, travel, recruiting. There's online information for travels, online training, attendant training, admin, assistant to attendant, KDS webinar for an in-service training, submissions for the January 30th, 2024. Recruitment training, January 2024, police officers, 5 applicants, communication specialists, 6 applicants, information specialist, records clerk, 3 applicants, and 2 animal control officers. Several applicants were removed due to no communication with the recruitment lieutenant. And what he does is he sends out emails, waits for responses, gets no response. Community events for the month of January. We had a recruitment event at Walmart that was on January 20th, 2024. We had a second at Lowe's on Mills, January 27th, 2024. And then one of our officers escorted a Hero Press employee around Las Vegas delivering the calendars. And it's the calendars that they go and they get donations to get the business posted on, and there's pictures of the employees of the police department. We have a total of 31 vacancies within the police department. Obviously, chief of police, chief for lieutenants and field ops, 1 for sergeant field ops, 1 for investigations sergeant, investigators 1, a narcotics agent sergeant 1, narcotics agent 1, police officers 11, a community service aide 1, communication manager 1, communication specialist dispatchers full-time 3, communication specialist dispatcher part-time 2, information specialist 1, administrative assistant 1, a grants administrator 1, animal control officer 1, animal care center tech part-time, full-time 1. And that's it.
Councilors?
Mayor Rivera, yes, I was just kind of curious to know if Region 4 has been actively involved in our community.
We have a narcotics agent, yes, but the old Region 4 itself, they still use the title, but not the way it used to work. And the way it used to work, it was 5 or 6 communities within the northern part of New Mexico. So examples like Mora, Rantoan, each of them provided an officer, and all those officers would get together and work together as a team.
Okay, are they not actively involved anymore? Or
Region 4 itself,
has it been dismembered or what?
no funding, we have no funding for the Region 4, but we do have agents with Las Vegas Police Department. The San Miguel Sheriff's Office also has narcotics agents, and the DA's office also has detectives that work narcotics.
Okay, and the reason why I ask is because it's still a continuing growing problem in our community. You know that. I mean, there is a lot of people pushing, drugs in our community, and I guess we need to find resources to combat that. And I know that you guys are down on officers, and you guys have there's so many other problems that we need to bring up, but we can't combat if we don't have the resources behind it. And you're right, So is Region 4 still an entity that's seeking any kind of financial compensation from the state or anything, or is there anybody out there to do that? Or?
It'd be a grant that we'd apply for, but what we do is like grab the investigators, and we change their schedule to work investigation week, and then they have an SCD week, street crimes unit, and they do their best to try to fight the narcotics problem we have in our community. But like for the, I forgot to mention, but for the month of January, we had a rise in burglary calls. So they worked operations specifically targeting burglars. And you might think, well, it's just burglars, but everything pretty much leads back to narcotics, illegal narcotics.
Right, yeah. And I understand that. But I know there's quite a few vacancies, so these vacancies are what it basically cripples the department.
Yes, sir.
And, you know, I know it's, and then, you know, you've got the state of New Mexico, the governor's office that basically has moved along the pay hike for state police officers. So that's gonna create for us a bigger problem because now we're gonna have to be, which we should be, more competitive in being able to pay officers for our community. But nevertheless, I mean, we still gotta combat the problem, and with a smaller force, it's gotta be that much harder, I'm sure, you're right. You know what, Mayor and, you know, council, maybe there's a way that, you know, like you mentioned, resources, funding, for Region 4, maybe that's something that this council could be more beneficial in helping so that we can start to combat the bigger picture. Of course, we have a lot of vacancies to fill as well, so, you know, hopefully, you know, City Manager Montgomery and we can get some people out here to, you know, to apply for these positions, okay? So, really hoping that we can move that forward because there's a lot of moving parts in our community. And like you said, narcotics is a very, very big problem. It's not only here, it's everywhere, and I get that. But how do we find the resources to make sure we can get all of those things taken care of? And I think moving forward, that's something we need to start thinking about, how to help be part of that funding as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Councilor. Any other questions? Councilor Casey, any questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, next on our agenda is our finance report. We have our interim finance director, Dominic Chavez.
Good evening, Mayor. Mayor, I'm present to you the finance report for January 31st, 2024. In the general fund, we have revenues coming in at $8,526,017, expenditures at $7,827,359, for a surplus of $698,658. Our enterprise fund revenues are at $9,262,381, with expenditures at $8,659,242, for a surplus of $603,131. Our recreation center revenues are at $338,515, expenditures at $382,969, for a deficit of $44,454. And the lodging tax, I apologize, on your report, it does show that there's a deficit, however, there's a surplus. The revenues are at $391,616, with their expenditures at $309,925, for a surplus of $81,691. Our canvas fund, revenues are in at $78,483,000, with expenditures at $1,880, for a surplus of $76,603. That will stand for any questions.
Questions? Mr. City Manager, finances, Bill. Dominic, but his wife, understand.
Make sure this one works. This next one, I'm sorry. No, I do feel good about the sense of where we are. I think that the finance director now will work ahead a little bit more as far as looking at risk and opportunities and presenting that. We've also discussed a little bit how we'll present grants going forward over state appropriations, so we know what our balances are and conversion dates. And so there's a few things like that we're working on to present. However, I feel very comfortable with the numbers.
And the other question, Dominic, I don't know, I haven't had a chance to ask, Mr. Montgomery for that. I know we had this question called financial advisor, are we still working on that? Financial advisor?
Yes, we are still working with WC Capital.
And then also, Councilor, you have a question? I just know, one of the things was the investments. You had concerns about that?
Yeah, we have our city manager earlier in the company of Pristine Investments Program, and we're going to, I guess, be looking.
Yes. Yes, so that is something we've actually been looking into. Right now, the government investment pool has a very high rate of return. We're looking in the neighborhood of 5.4%, whereas we are currently in our CDs. We have CD investments, the return on that's really low. We're at a point though where our CDs will mature, I believe it's February 26th, and at that point we'll be coming forward to seek advice and permission to reinvest those monies in the government pool.
Thank you.
There's also, Mr. Mayor, the finance committee did approve this report on this year. That's great. Yes. And Councilman Montoya, just, city manager did pass on the information. Thank you.
Councilor Casey, any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, moving on to our business items. Our first business item is request approval of resolution 24-03, budget adjustment for the 2023-2024 fiscal year. Mr. Chavez?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor and City Council. I'm here to request approval of resolution 24-23. The city of Las Vegas is in need of making a budget adjustment to the 2024 fiscal year budget to include a revenue expense increase to Fund 203 State Fire Grant in the amount of $2,868. The revenue expense decrease to Fund 217 State Legislative Appropriations AG 1016-30-2 PD Recruitment and Retention Year 1 in the amount of $112,500. The revenue expense increase to Fund 217 State Legislative Appropriations AG 1016-30-2 Year 2 PD Recruitment and Retention in the amount of $112,500. The revenue expense increase to Fund 217 State Legislative Appropriations 23-ZH 5048-41 Year 1 PD Recruitment in the amount of $300,000. The revenue expense increase to Fund 217 State Legislative Appropriations A22G-5345 Kitchen Equipment in the amount of $130,000. The revenue expense increase to Fund 217 State Legislative Appropriations AG2-5346 Purchase of Equipment and Vehicles in the amount of $140,000. The revenue expense increase to Fund 647 Water Acquisition Rights in the amount of $500,000, and an expense increase to Fund 771 ARPA in the amount of $154,113. Have any questions?
Councilors, I'll entertain a motion at this time. Questions after? Pro Tem Montoya made the motion. You want to second that? A second by Councilor Casey. Roll call, please. Unless there was discussion.
This was approved by the finance committee also.
Roll call.
Councilor Martinez?
Yes.
Councilor Ivani?
Yes.
Councilor Casey? Councilor Montoya?
Yes.
I have a motion by Councilor Montoya, a second by Councilor Casey. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Moving on to business item number 2, request approval of lease agreement between Southwest Off-Road Racing LLC, doing business as We Racing Ltd. Company, and the City of Las Vegas, to lease property west of Rodriguez Park. We have our Community Development Director, Mr. Luis Marquez.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Montgomery. Good to see everybody. I've been in class all week long, so I'm a little bit ill prepared, but I'm pretty familiar with other cases, so I'm gonna go ahead and go through these. I got Mr. MJ Dodson up here, he's a representative of WeBe Racing. And what we're asking the board is to see if we can come to an agreement of land use for the property west of Rodriguez Park. To entertain a dirt bike racing competition, well, a scramble, if any other words would come to mind. Up on the screen, there's pretty much a schedule. I believe everything was in the packet as well. We should have the schedule and everything's in our packet. I'm not sure if we did it. Again, I was in the training, so I didn't get a chance to get everything I should have back over to Cassandra, so I apologize to the board. But if we would see up there that we have it'd be a 2-day event. Starting in on Friday would be the check-ins at 6 p.m. They have already signed up there, and then Saturday would be a mini practice starting at 7 a.m. in the morning. Continuing on to Sunday where the scramble would start at 7 a.m. again. This event was taken to DRT for approval to make sure that we follow all safety protocols. So all department heads were involved, including police chief and fire chief. They both sent representatives to make sure that everything was followed. They will be having their own medical people there. They'll have their own tent to sign up people in. They're going to have porta potties. And of course, solid waste containers for any type of debris. I'm going to continue so I can see if I find any other tracks that are there. Again, here's another flyer that'll be going out. These dates are going to be March 23rd to the 24th. We've gone ahead and checked with Luna Baseball to make sure we're going to be interfering with any of their softball games or baseball games, and we won't miss them by 1 day. So we'll be able to accommodate the sport without interrupting any type of function from the left.
Councilor Casey. Thank you, Councilor. Councilors? Councilman Martinez?
Yes, I too would like to say thank you for choosing our site, Vegas, Las Vegas. The big things for myself would be, you and I have talked, Marcus, liability is always a big, huge issue, okay? Especially when you've got, fans available, you've got, spectators that are just watching it. And I'm hoping that all that gets, roped off or whatever it needs to be. Is there going to be seating for spectators, or how is that going to play out? I guess I'm not sure how it's.
Okay. So, Mayor Council, speaking of Mr. Dodson, there ain't going to be any seats available, but there will be a spectator section. So up on the screen, there's the track itself. That'll encompass everything there. Let me go up a little bit higher so you can see. And it's going to go all the way north, and then it'll work its way down south. We didn't want to go any further than where the street property was, because then we'd be entering Arcadia Wells, and that's something that we cannot do that. We can't risk any type of accidents or issues back there. Again, there's going to be spark arresters for each motorcycle, so that we don't have any issues up there. We understand that's the burn scars area that's back there. There's not gonna be any moving of the dirt by tractors or bulldozers or bobcats or anything like that. This is a natural, course. So it's gonna be flagged off. If there is any spray paint, that's gonna be biodegradable spray paint on rocks, not on trees, or possibly a tree as well.
It'll be, yeah, washable, biodegradable.
Washable, biodegradable. There's rules put and set in place that were approved by a police chief and fire chief, to make sure, or the representative of the fire department, and the sensor that day, to say that, you know, they're gonna follow the rules from the city of Las Vegas. Again, there's not gonna be any, I guess what you would call hot dogging with the bikes going back to their trailers. They're only allowed to be a first year ad item to take them back to their, trailers and parking. There will be a camping area in the area. And, let me see if I can find it for you guys real quick so I can show it to you. These are examples of the markings that they are gonna be up. And here's the other site plan.
So all of that property does belong to the city of Las Vegas, correct?
All that property back there belongs to the city of Las Vegas. And, you know, I feel it's a good thing to bring forward and try it out and see what kind of, turnout we get. And if it's possible, maybe we could reach into further, discussions on longer contracts.
Yeah, the only thing I did notice on the original paperwork, it does say March 17th through the 25th, is that?
Yeah, so that's,
Why are those dates there?
let me go ahead and have Mr. Dodson explain why.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Those dates are there because I will come in ahead of time because I have to completely set up the course, put the markings, the X is wrong way, so on. We use a lot of wooden stakes, just pound them into the ground. We use arrows, and then after our race, the 25th is there because if I feel Sweet Crew didn't do their job of removing all of the markings, removing everything that we put up, I usually stay an extra day after the races just to go double check.
Okay, so you guys have other events in other locations, I'm sure you do, I just don't know.
Sure, yes. Weedy Racing's actually been going for 21 years now. This is our second season at doing it. I've been involved in motocross racing and motorcycle off-road racing for over 20 years. So I kind of know what happens and what goes on. But last year, excuse me, we went to Farmington, Aztec, Monticello, Utah, Grand Junction, all over. So yes, we've done it before.
And I think in speaking to Mr. Marcus there, I just wanted to be sure that, you know, there's some kind of a format that maybe the riders or contestants would be a waiver of some sort, you know, to protect.
Yes, there's actually three. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. Yes, there's actually three. We have a minor, and then a participant, and then an overall waiver. Yeah, there's three that you sign in right there as you come off of the main entrance there into Rodriguez Park. We'll actually have a gate trailer there, so everybody will stop. They get handed the rules. They kind of get talking to on how everything's going to work that weekend, and they sign the waivers there. They get wristbands, and we check for those and make sure that they have signed it throughout the weekend. So yes, we try to take every precaution to keep everybody covered. We carry a liability insurance, so yeah, we do just as much as we can to keep everybody safe and still have a good time. And then if I can revisit, yeah, we're not going to have a seating area like the bleachers or anything like that. But as I talk to people around the community and racers in general, almost everybody's got 2 or 3 camping chairs in their truck, and they'll bring them along. And of course, we fence off with tape, and we use caution markings for pit area, for a live race area. And again, I have what I call is my sweet crew. It's the crew that helps me whether we have a medical emergency out on the track, maybe a rider, their bike exploded or broke down, you know, the locomotor or something. So they're constantly riding, and they're also my eyes out there enforcing. If they see something that's not right or something breaking the rules, they take care of it and inform me as well.
Okay, that sounds good. I mean, environmental impacts, as long as we can control, you've done this long enough to know what you're doing. And I strongly feel that it's a good thing for Vegas.
Yes, sir.
And, hopefully we can see this grow into an annual event, maybe, or a real popular event for us. So I do thank you.
Thank you. And I also, along those same lines, yes, I agree, whether it's an annual event or as a promoter, we're looking at even doing mountain biking. So what would be really great is we already have a course in place, right? Motorcycles will come through and some of the rocks will be moved, obviously. There will be a trail. There's no getting around that, obviously, when we have hundreds of bikes going. But now, you have potential for a mountain bike race, maybe a marathon. I think it can lead to a lot of different things in that aspect, like you're moving to.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Officers?
Yeah, what's the age limit on this?
The age limit starts at 5, sir, all the way up to 70 years old.
5 to what?
To 70 years old. There'll be different brackets, of course, there'll be different brackets for 50 cc's, 85 cc's, all the way to the big ones of 250.
You guys can come out and race. Let's do it.
Do we have local entries?
We're gonna have local entries. I'm more than positive we are. I know there's a lot of enthusiasts in town that are dirt bike racers, and they're traveling to Moriarty every weekend or every other weekend to go and race, and they're ready to do it here at home.
We've been-
Is this on a trial basis?
We've been contacted by 2 families already in Las Vegas that are very excited at it.
And what brought you to Las Vegas?
I'm sorry, what?
What brought you to Las Vegas?
I come through here often. We have a lake house out at Conscious Lake, so sometimes I'll come this way, sometimes I'll go 40. I was actually invited by somebody that we know to look at some private land, and just in kind of venturing around the city on Onyx, I saw that there was some land back there. And I like working with cities, and I know that there's really nothing like this here. I'd love to form something like with Raton, you guys, and even do, again, alluding to like a series and kind of get a traveling circus of dirt bikes, if you will, racing through these cities, bringing in revenue. You know, let's put some heads in beds. And it's a great little community. I've spent some time here, like I said, traveling through, and that side up there. Off-road dirt bikers like it hard. They don't like a groomed track like motocrossers. Nothing against motocross guys. There's some great terrain back there. I think this could rival and be one of our best races, really.
We have probably another 30 acres further up into the mountain for future use.
Awesome.
So how many participants?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
How many participants?
Participants average anywhere between 200 and 400. It just kind of depends on location, and racers are a calculated bunch. If they've already wrapped up a championship, if you will, they won't race that. But this is actually our first race of the season, so I anticipate upwards of 400 to 500, possibly.
And where will they be coming from?
New Mexico, Colorado, Utah. I am actually going to go up to a dirt bike shop in Raton and then over into Trinidad and drop off some flyers and talk to some people there. We're going to go down to Amarillo. The good thing with it being an early race is everybody's been kind of cooped up in the snow in Colorado and some of the other parts. So I think we can draw from all 5, 6 states around us. I believe we have 1 entry coming from Arizona already as well.
Do you have a business license or an event permit?
We started up, Mayor Council, yes, the event permit is already commenced. Business license, we can secure it as soon as it's approved, you can get it.
My last question is, has this been reviewed by legal service?
Mayor Council, yes, sir, it's been sent out to our land use attorneys, which are Mr. Van Leck and Mr. Slattery. It's already passed the process, sir.
Welcome and good luck.
Thank you, appreciate that.
Mr. Councilman, buddy?
Yes, it's a great event because past 2 years, there's a group here in town that wanted to do something like that. We couldn't find an area to do it for. Do that. It's the biggest one is the perfect area. Thank you for being here. I hope we get this going on every 6 months every year. I think it's going to be a lot of revenue for our city and for our children, very spectators to go out and see what's going on with it. It's a nice area, very nice area to do that. Thank you.
Sure. You know, I do have one last request. I think that this $3,000 should go back to the biggest park. Rightfully so, to that department, to that park. Thank you. If it goes through. Thank you.
Thank you. I just, again, thank you for choosing our community. I did notice on your schedule, there was, I think, 1 date. If the first day does go successful, we plug into that, into your schedule, again this year possibly, and just depending on how the schedule works out.
If everything goes well, yes.
Thank you. And with that, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Lieutenant Montoya, second. Second by Councilman Rivali, roll call please.
Counselor Martinez,
Yes.
Counselor Casey, Counselor Rivali,
Yes.
Counselor Montoya.
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Montoya, second by Counselor Rivali. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
And if I may, real quick, a round of applause and my hats off to Lucas. He really helped bring everything together, department-wise, safety-wise, and everything. So he was a huge, huge part. I'm sure that you guys know that. So special thanks to him and to Las Vegas for considering this. Thank you.
And if there's anything we could do, I know as a committee, I did receive some calls pertaining to some, riders that, they weren't aware of this until just recently. But anything we could do to promote even here locally, to get our drivers involved.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to canvass the whole city and get some flyers out. And get it out there and try to get on the radio station here and stuff. Yep, get it out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to business item number 3, request approval of the restructuring of the Community Development Department organizational chart by adding code compliance officer positions and removing from the police department. We have our city manager, Tim Montgomery, as well as Mr. Marcus Finley.
Good evening, Mayor Council again. I'm on the computer petition to you guys to see if we could do some, restructuring of the, I'm sorry. I got nervous now that I saw Tim walking over. Restructuring of the organizational chart. I want to see if we could go ahead and bring code enforcement back to community development. I feel that they're needed in this department. This is the department we're needed at. They're not certified officers, so they're not they're functioning in the wrong capacity. And I feel that you'll be back with the community development department, so we can work on these codes, work on the legal buildings, work on the trash yards, and get ourselves back to basics with code enforcement.
Mr. Montgomery, just, you being here, basically since December, just your opinion on this and your recommendation, what's yours?
Yes, so I support this transfer. Actually, Mr. Marquez and I have discussed this for quite some time. There's a couple different things. One, I think code enforcement is needed within his department to make sure he can do his job. They can do assessments of the city and so forth. Alongside that, though, having code enforcement with the police department creates a perception that they carry a gun, that they are trained to serve as law enforcement. We'd like to create that distance or that separation and bring it back under community development services, potentially to change uniforms, remove lights from the cars and so forth, so that they are known as code enforcement. Working under Lewis's purview will allow more time for the police department to focus on public safety. And so that's my main drive behind it.
Councilors, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Rivali.
That's really good that you gave Lucas gave the enforcement back to community development. We have a problem in town. There's a lot of residents, a lot of business people doing business without no licenses. And we need to take care of that. We've been looking at that for the last 2-3 years. And they're not getting the license, they're not, they're operating businesses. So, we need to take care of that. It's a problem in small town. Thank you.
Lieutenant Montoya.
I just want to thank the whole entire police department, because a year ago, we didn't have an economic development director on board, and we had our previous city manager acting as economic development director, and we do that department by the hand under his wing. And that's when we decided to put on a shelter of the code enforcement people under the police department. And thanks for helping us out and for doing that for us for that time period. I think it's a good decision to bring it back. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Martinez.
Yes. No, I guess was code enforcement originally set up as part of the community development originally, and then it got transferred over and then fell under the assignment of the police department?
That's correct. Historically, this department has moved back and forth between community development and the police department about 4 times. We really feel that it should reside within community development. We did have the unique situation of not having a director, the community development director, and that's why it was moved, so that there could be that supervision. But now it feels like it's the appropriate time to bring it back and keep it under Mr. Marquez.
And right now, there's how many, code compliance officers? Is that the way to call them, or?
Code compliance is fine, yes, sir. Right now, Mayor Council, there's actually 3 code compliance officers that are there right now.
Okay. So their job basically is to, I mean, just like, Counselor Newberry mentioned, you know, you want to make sure that you have businesses in our community that are applying for business licenses and so forth, and what other role do they play? Mr. Marquez?
So they would be holding down every code that we have in as far as nuisance codes, with the city of Las Vegas. So they'll be dealing with, trash yards or overgrown weeds. For example, the snow in front of stores, you know, we could go ahead and canvass the plaza area and make sure we give out notices that, the snow has to be removed 24 hours after the snowfall, things of that nature. So they'll be doing our code compliance, in that nature.
Okay, that's good to know that we've got city involvement looking at those things. It plays such a big role, especially when, you know, when people get hurt. Even the other day that, I think I had gone by close to where you're at now at the fire department, and there was still a lot of snow and, you know, ice right in the front of the building, of course, but, you know, it's good to know that there's people looking out after that, okay? So, I'm glad I guess they're back home, is what I'm trying to say, so hopefully that'll work, you know, good with your department.
Yeah, we'll appreciate it. And then we always have our big brother ready to watch out for us. If something does happen, we got the PD that will come and give us a little bit more power if we need it. But I just don't want to come off as domineering. I want to make sure we get compliance in the right form. So I think this is the way to do it.
Okay, so people that have complaints about like nuisance properties and that, they call you as a director of there? Or how does it work? What's the process? Give me just a general idea real quick.
Well, with my experiences, I was a code enforcement supervisor as well. You know, they'll make the call and they'll advise that they have an issue in their yard or in their neighborhood of a yard that's with overgrown weeds, or, you know, they're seeing mice come out of the area. We'll go ahead and respond and speak with the owner of the property, let them know the violation, go ahead and give them a warning citation if needed, and gain compliance that way. If it gets to the point where they're not complying, then we go ahead and cite them into court, and we'll take them into court.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. City Manager, Mr. Marquez, just one thing as we move forward, and one thing that I've always pushed is the professional development within that department. And what we have, I believe now, I think we have the training for code enforcement and stuff like that coming up through this school. And I think it's important that, you know, for these issues that, and we're not the only ones dealing with this, but we never, previous city managers, we've had conversations and say, make sure these guys have training. You know, I think they've done that, but now under your leadership, that'll change. So hopefully we can continue, but we can be on top of that and send it to as much training as we can, because, you know, there's more to just going and citing, but there's also being proactive. For instance, businesses, you know, we as a council, you know, have taken hits. The business is open, they're open for 6 months. And, code enforcement goes and says, hey, you guys don't have this, you don't have that. And their excuse, well, we've been open for 6 months. So we got to be a little more proactive in the community versus reactive. And, you know, but again, all that comes with training, right? What you look for is writing it down. So, you know, we can just keep that in mind moving forward. So with that, I'm entertaining a motion. Councilor Casey, did you have anything? Yes, I'll entertain a motion. by Councilor Casey, do I have a second?
Also,
Second by Councilman Martinez, roll call.
Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
Counselor Vivani?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
yes.
Counselor Casey? I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Martinez. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries. Moving on to our fourth item, consideration for emergency funding to Samaritan House in the amount of $9,500. Mr. Marcus.
Mayor, Council, for this issue, we came last week to do a presentation, or Samaritan House, I'm sorry, did a presentation last week in regards to their dire situation. They've had a lot of uptick in residents due to the fentanyl situation. Mr. Lyons couldn't be here tonight, so Mr. Paul is here today to go ahead and discuss any issue or answer any questions that may be brought up by the council and the mayor. They are requesting $9,500 extra. Just to let the council know, we did have a budgeted amount of $50,000 that was already given to the Samaritan House. However, we did not see these unforeseen circumstances occurring. Council last week did advise that they wanted this money to go to the homeless and not to extra things such as benches and heaters and cots. I just want to make sure I brought that up to you guys as well. And with that, we'll stop for any questions.
Councilors? Councilman Martinez? Councilman Martinez?
Okay, I didn't know. I guess I still have concerns of the area, number one. And I go back to the original questions that I had last meeting, which was, the capacity of the building. Okay, so if you're requesting for more costs and more equipment, I don't know if you guys know what that count is. I want to make sure that, you know, if we're going to continue to be generous in any fashion, that there's some kind of a cap to it. Okay, you can't have 100 people in there. You have to have, you know, I don't know what the actual count is of the location. So I'm just not sure of some of the questions that are unanswered. I haven't taken a site visit out there. I know I did mention I wanted to. And, you know, there's still concerns within the neighborhood of the location, of course. And that brings me to a lot of questions as to maybe even why. I mean, that's probably something you can't even answer at this point, but I know that the building is currently owned by you guys, by Mr. Lyons, correct?
No, by the Samaritan House.
By the Samaritan House or entity. My big concerns are, okay, if $50,000 was donated at one point to you guys for services, how does the city of Las Vegas, this council and mayor, how do we know what we're getting for that?
If it's okay, I'll address some of your issues. So, so far, the city or the fire department from Las Vegas has been, we've requested from them a capacity number. In the past, it has been 45 to 50. But we want to for sure have a capacity number readjusted and set by the city or by the fire department. So we don't have that. The number of cots we had in the past, we were averaging 16. This winter, during the cold months, it went up to 35, 36 people per night. And so we needed extra places to keep them. That's why we looked for the cots. We wanted to address the services issue rather than try to get more funding for some other issue. And the way the contract was set up for the first $50,000, we house clients during the cold months. We're only cold winter, cold weather shelter. So from mid-October through mid-April, those are our difficult times where our costs increase substantially because we have to have 24/7 employment during the day because we do breakfast, We do snacks during the day, and then we do a meal for supper. And then then the clients spend the night there, so they're staffed there all night. And so there's, the expenses for running the shelter are about $26,000 to $27,000 a month during the winter. Much less during the summer because we don't have to house. The city has set up a contract with us for $50,000 and it came into effect, I believe, in October, November. I apologize. George would have all the information and he was tied up tonight and couldn't make it. Excuse me, I touched. But, so it is dispersed to us in increments per month with reports given to the city so they know the services we're providing. And so we get $8,333 a month.
Right.
That goes toward our expenses of $25,000 to $27,000 a month. And we have other funding sources. One other thing I wanted to mention tonight was we have, because I know there was concerns that we haven't communicated with the county. We have talked with Harold Garcia, one of the commissioners, and have had a couple conversations with him, and we're still getting work for getting some other funding. We have other funding sources, but this is really, as Lucas has mentioned, this winter has been kind of caught us off guard. Last year we didn't have as many residents that would come and have to spend the night, and this year they've had several times during the cold spell up as high as 36 residents or 36 guests per night. And so it just has increased our cost quite a bit. And so that's what we're looking for. So the funding we do receive from the city, we are so thankful for it and happy that you have partnered with us to reach this part of our community. But we are really running at a serious deficit, and we would definitely appreciate any help we can get to further finance us to get us through the next 2-3 months.
Okay, and going back to the conversation that we had the other day, Councilor Montoya, he mentioned about the equipment, costs and all of that stuff. And, I guess he felt, and maybe I feel that same way, I'm not saying I go one way or another, but what I'm trying to say is, he felt that those items should be items incurred by Samaritan House. And that's where I kind of stand on that too. I don't know what other funding sources you do have. I kind of get the feeling that we're the only funding source being asked at this time. I don't know that. I don't know what you guys.
I wouldn't have all the information on that, but you are not the only funding source. Some of it is some of our reserve money that has been in place to try to, we build up through the summer, through the whole year to try to get through the winters. None of this, in this request, none of the money that we have received from the city so far goes towards any of the things that George had mentioned in the last meeting with the council and the mayor. And what we're looking for is to fund the gap, help us to fund the gap. It's not going to fill the whole gap of the deficit we have per month, but it would definitely help us get a little closer to being solvent as we go through. So we're not asking for money or asking for this money to go towards costs or towards security. We're asking it for the help because of what we do to reach the clients that are already coming to the shelter.
Okay. Now, I guess one final question is, I know the purpose of the Samaritan House is to get these individuals to be self-supported, correct?
What we would like to do with the shelter, and George has his involvement or his commitment to the homeless community is as great as anybody I've known. It's not an easy job, and as drug use continues to increase, getting people to shift back into normal lives has become much more difficult. But our hope is, so we have programs where we set them up to reestablish their identifications, to get contact with Social Security so everything gets put back in place so that they can start to work toward becoming whatever normal would be for them to get
So
homeless.
So is what you're saying, are these services provided to them individuals?
They are on request right now, yes,
Request.
from the clients.
Okay, I'm gonna think about it, I guess, but I'll let the other counselors decide if they have any questions. Of course, I'm just at a point where I'm not sure if these individuals need help. And I recognize that, okay? I do recognize that they need help. But the city does provide the $50,000, annually, and that's a lot of money, and I don't know if we're seeing the benefit of that, Mayor Romero. I don't know. I mean, I'm new to the board, I'm new to the council, as you know, and, naturally, I'm gonna be trying to protect the best interests of the city. So that's my take on it, but, if the other counselors are up for questions, I'd like for them to go ahead and ask those questions.
That's your whole, one quick question. Deputy Chief, we had a meeting with Mr. Ryan pertaining an enrollment here in the contract pertaining to giving PD access because of the drug issue. And they ever finally give you guys the access, or was it just talk?
Well, after that meeting, we pointed out some cooperation, yes. Yes.
I just wanted to make sure that we was.
Prior to that meeting, was it there, the laptop, after we had that meeting, started doing cooperation.
Thank you. And then also, Pastor Paul, quick question. I spoke to, of course, this meeting was upcoming, and I spoke to Chief Span, I believe it was Monday. Maybe it was yesterday, I think it was Monday, to ask him, because Mr. Ryan he did say that he had reached out to the fire department pertaining to occupancy. As of Monday that I'm aware of, this was probably after the evening, he hadn't received any call or anything from Mr. Ryan, so.
I will follow up with
So that's concerning to me to see, if we're being, again, some things are said and then not followed through, so I want to make sure pertaining to the occupancy, this is my concern here. I know we have this contract in place, but prior contract, we already had, in that specific contract, I think we had a number of, I believe, 30 some, where there was like a specific number pertaining to how many individuals we would sleep like on a nightly basis.
Yeah.
So I guess my whole question here is, we continue to say there's more need, which there's a more need, but we get more cots, we get more, the occupancy plays a big part to this. So if we, depending on what the occupancy is currently now, and if we're already maximizing, if we get more funding, but occupancy doesn't, let's say we're right at max, and you guys say, well, we need more money. Well, how can we get more money if we can increase the amount of individuals that we can serve or that can sleep there that night? If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So to me, a big question is just saying, is how many people actually sleep in that, where it's a safe environment. We want to overlook it, but of course we want to. I understand I have a compassion for homeless. We want to get as many people to the farm as we can, but the concern that I kind of have with this whole thing is if we get more money, but we can't increase the capacity, then where are we really, what's the city funding for that? So those are the kind of concerns that I have. I'm so, or, no. Councilor Casey, or Councilor Casey? Okay, I have a motion by Councilor Casey. Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion.
Second by Pro Tem Montoya, discussion.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pastor, when does this contract expire? In June?
I believe May.
June.
May third, sir.
Since the very beginning, this contract has had problems. One of the biggest problems is that we wait till over first snowfall, first freeze to come before us, which is not right. I mean, if this contract expires in June, and we have to renew in June. Mr. What's the director's name? Lyons? We've had to him over and over again about our issues with this contract. The county hasn't been answered. Yeah.
No, the county has not given any money.
And we have a lot of, 30% residents from the county. I mean, somebody ought to be helping that out, or I don't know, I mean, it's hard to cut them off. We're all humans. But, $27,000 a month to run that place for 30 people a day, citizens, civilians, it's a pretty hefty bill.
Yeah.
For 18 months or so. And then our end of the bargain has been always the direction of services provided. And that has really never been proved as to what kind of services have been provided. They're helping them with driver's license, or giving them a social security card, or sending them to treatment, or giving them counseling, that kind of stuff. And that's what this contract should be all about. Last week, that furniture stuff that you guys sent us for picnic tables and cots, Chief Span said you had only 36 beds, and I don't know where you're gonna put the cots, outside in the backyard, or I don't know where they have room for them. But the thing.
We had a. Okay, we have a motion. Second. Question.
Discussion, Mr. Mayor.
We call. Question. So we got a roll call.
Counselor Vivadi?
Yes.
Counselor Martinez?
Yes.
Counselor Casey? Counselor Montoya?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Montoya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
If I may, if we could set up a parameter of when to approach the city, it would definitely help both entities. So as we get closer, when the correct time, we'll work through Marcus or Lucas and get in order so it's more in time with your budget and all those things. So I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you, Council and Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Council.
Mr. Mayor, that concludes our business items. Moving on to executive session.
Executive session. Counselor Casey? Counselor Casey? Counselor Casey? Counselor Casey? Okay, so Entertaining a motion for executive session, but I don't have a motion yet.
Point of order. I'll second the motion.
We don't have a motion yet. We have a motion by Councilman Martinez.
Okay, limited personnel matters, NMSA 1978-10-15-1, H2 discussions, hiring, promotion, demotion, dismissal, or resignation of the investigation for consideration of complaints or charges against any individual public employee.
I have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Counselor Ivey,
Yes.
Counselor Casey, Counselor Montoya,
Yes.
Counselor Martinez.
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Martinez, a second by Counselor Montoya. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Motion carries.
Thank you. We'll make sure. Where's the speaker? Just, so I'm wondering, if we discuss here with the speaker, we had to get up there. The only thing that will be Councilor Casey, we'll go ahead and tell you on the phone, and we'll, have you on speaker. I'll go ahead and call you on the phone and have you on speaker for executive. Yes, I'll call you. Okay, I'll call you. I'll call you now.